Hello, beautiful souls. This is a Reflector Reflections podcast. My name is Annie. Join me as we journey around the world talking with me today. As you know, I'm based here in Southeast Queensland, Australia. And the last few weeks have been very interesting for me. So this is going to be a solo podcast because there's a lot that I kind of want to start talking about from my own truth and my own voice that I feel needs to be expressed. And one of those things about voices, now, for those that have been following along at home for a long time, you know that I've got 6 gates in my throat, and it's often spoken about in human design. When we have an open throat, it's this need to constantly talk or feel we have. But you know what? Sometimes I think there's also a reason that we are dominant in certain areas in our chart. It's it could be a part of our incarnation cross. It could be part of just our purpose in general. So honoring the need to speak, the need to teach, the need to say something, opposed to just saying it for the sake of saying it, I think needs to be spoken about a little bit more, because there's nothing wrong with wanting to have a say. There is nothing wrong with wanting to correct incorrect information, and we can get a little bit caught in this world, can't we? Where it's like we're going to pussyfoot around and we're going to be like, oh, well, if I do that, is that being, not self-theme, or have I not waited long enough? Or, oh, I'm a reflector, I can't have a say. Well, I fucking think we can. And I think sometimes when you know who you are and you've traversed that and you feel it, whatever it is that needs to come out, and I'm not just talking about speech or words, it could be any way that you need to express. I think we need to give respect and honor that process that we have within ourselves, and trusting our own unique inner guidance system. That leads me to, I guess, what I want to talk about is like, how do we find that? How do we navigate our own inner navigation system when everybody is kind of like throwing things at us and telling us we should be this or we should be that? Oh my God, you got to wait a lunar cycle and you're just a reflector. Oh. Do you know how really therapeutic one of those cleansing breaths are? Honestly, if you ever get caught and you just can't take on anymore, take a big deep breath in and just let an exhale go with a sigh. It is so cleansing, and it really brings us back into our body. In my line of work, this is something that I try to mentor, teach, coach, whatever word you want to put on it. But it's about being able to be present in our body and feel who we are underneath all of the crap that comes at us. Because when you know that, and I say this all the time, when you know who you are, when you know where your energy ends and somebody else begins, you can let go of other people's expectations, of other people's projections, of other people's conditioning, your own conditioning, or navigate your own process, navigate your own shadow work, your own deconditioning, your own fucking journey in this life without everybody else like imprinting their opinions. How do you do that? How do we do that? I want to say it takes time. I really do. It really does take time. But sometimes you already know this. So it may not take as long as you think it does, because deep down you do know this. You know who you are. You just need to remember. And by remembering, it's just like embody that. I always say to people, what are the things that you do that bring you joy? And joy for me is those moments where someone just starts smiling. In my life, for example, I could just get caught doing something and I'm just happy. That brings me joy. It's what I love. Could be dance, it could be music, it could be those simple things. It could be just learning something new and just being so lit up that you are learning and just going, this is amazing, and being able to let it go. Look back to your youth, look back on your childhood, look back to where you were, and you'll remember those things that you were just free. An example, when I was a child, I loved to ride my bike, my bicycle. There was something with the wind blowing in my hair and the freedom and being able to be away from everybody else and having that power and control over my own body and being, and just there was no restraints on me, no restraints at all. Even down to riding horses, to being on the back of utes, trucks for you guys in America or other countries. But, back in the day where you just hang on and you be in the tray and you just like the wind blowing, there's a freedom in being in the wind for me. And so I know that I can't always just go and ride my bike, even though I have I do ride, I'm a cyclist. I can't always do that. It's not always something that is in my orbit, being a very busy woman with raising a family. But the feeling, and I dip into that and I go, what is the feeling that I'm yearning? And as I was explaining that, it's a freedom. It's a, the sound of the wind in my ears, the smell of air, the drawing in of breath. And so I ask myself, if I can't ride my bike, what is similar to this feeling of freedom that I need? And so I try to apply that to my day-to-day life, even in my business, how I want to work, who I want to work with. I need freedom and self-expression to be able to breathe in the wind and the air around me. I invite you to think on this for you yourself. What brings you joy? What brings you to this peace within yourself where you just go, oh my gosh, I could sit here forever. This is me. That's what you want to try and find. And then try and feel that energy, have that energy, like sit in it, marinate in it, and try and apply it to different areas of your life, your job, your family, just day to day, because that's you. That's you, friend. And no one can take that from you. And you might think in your thinky, brainy, clunky bit up here, oh, well, that's not very practical. That's not going to bring me money, or that's not going to do. But you know what it's going to bring you? It's going to bring you peace. It's going to bring you connection to yourself. And I truly believe when we are connected to our true self or our authentic selves, anything can happen, because we are in not control in the control sense, but we are in alignment. And then we can come at everything from a place of alignment, love, and bridge into spaces. So deconditioning becomes something of the past, because it's always about, well, I'm not looking at deconditioning from my past. I'm not looking to my past to make amends. I'm looking to my present self, this joyous, in the moment now meanness, to step forward into this world in whatever speech, dance, written word, anything that you want to create, anything that you want to create or do. as reflectors, when you find this out about yourself, it's often so overwhelming. And you read these and you're like, oh my God, I'm nothingness. I'm just a white sheet. And then people will say, well, if you don't have definition in your centers, then you are amplifying everybody else's. And you're like, okay, what does that mean? What does this mean? Who am I? Oh my God, look at my life. Look at how I've been pulled around by the nose, or I've allowed myself. The healing journey in being a reflector is profound. And I want to take this day, it's Mother's Day here in Australia, and I just really want to take this day to mother this energy, mother this space, and just say, it's okay. It's okay to be gentle. It's okay to not have all the answers. It's okay to look back and just feel shame. It's okay to look back with guilt. It's okay. All of these feelings are okay. But your job is to now mother yourself on Mother's Day. Mother yourself. And that is taking that trip back into you, little inner you, child you who loved certain things, whatever they were. Maybe do that today. Maybe do that tomorrow. Maybe make an intention to do something that you loved. And find that and feel that. And so when you get overwhelmed with all of the information about a reflector and your gates and your channels and your circuitry and your PHS and all this stuff that we talk about, you can drop into that center in your being, that feeling of joy of you, and go, I know who I am. I do know. I've just got to practice that. Just taking that time, taking that little moment to just be with you every day. And you will strengthen that connection to yourself. It's a beautiful time to be alive, friends. There's a lot brewing. There's a lot coming. I know that we're talking astrology. We're talking all sorts of things, transits, whatever it is. I want you to forget about that for today and just focus on you, who you are. Find you, because we need us. This world, we need reflectors who are themselves and who can step forward as themselves and not get caught in everybody else's shit. That's what we need. I've got a few things coming for you, which I would like to invite you to. I do a lot of embodiment work, and it's something that I'm really passionate about. And the next episode that I'll be doing is really exploring our centers and ways that we can embody those. As you know, I've got a retreat happening here in Southeast Queensland on the 24th of June. And I encourage other reflectors in the world. I wish that I could have a teleportation device and it would just welcome everybody in to heal, because there is such profound healing when reflectors gather and we talk our truth and we share heart to heart our journey and who we are. So I encourage you to reach into a local event, find your reflector twin. And by reflector twin, it's somebody who was born at the same time as you, wherever they are in the world. Reach into the Facebook groups, reach into the Discord groups, find them. And if you don't know how to do that, then reach out to me and I will help you. I know a lot of reflectors. Have a conversation with your twin. It might feel uncomfortable, like they're a stranger, but they're not really. Even though we've all got beautiful, unique designs and different purposes and things like that, if you are struggling and you can't tap into who you are and you're just struggling with everybody understanding you, reach into the Reflector community because we will understand you. Take it even one step further, as I say, reach out and find a twin. I want to also take this moment to thank you. Thank you for your love, your support. I feel a very nurturing energy today. I work in the pregnancy and postpartum space. So, nurturing is a part of my being, but more so today. As you know, I'm also about to become a grandmother in the next week or two, and that's very exciting. And I feel that a part of my purpose is to really harness the connections of ourselves and others. And it just sits really beautifully with me. As a fifth line, as I said, with 6 gates in my throat, sometimes I feel like I have a lot to say, but a lot of the time I don't, because I'm working through that process myself of, do I just want to say it for the sake of saying it? But when I feel called to say something, I feel like it carries a lot more weight now. It's the same as how I show up on social media. I don't feel like I need to show up all the time. I just feel like I need to just do my thing. Moves more energy with me being in alignment with me than it does me trying to show up half-assedly in all these different spaces. So again, thank you. Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting this channel. Thank you for just sharing, as I want to start sharing a little bit more with you. You give yourself to me and I want to give back to you. So may all beings be free and in peace and share love.